Nothing's ever perfect, but some things can be close, unlike my 2004 Subaru STi. Here's a list of things I hate about it. I've been planning to do this video for a while, and I was first originally thinking 10 items, but now I'm more like 15, 20, so bear with me. The first one is probably the biggest here. It is a problem, especially with my Subaru, but it seems to be a common theme among Subarus. It is oil consumption. It doesn't consume like your little bit here and there. It consumes, I would say, comparable to a two-stroke, except the newer two-strokes. And now that it's expanded, the problem has grown even worse, and now I'm just leaking oil. I have no idea where. I've been troubleshooting titanium clamps, everything. Hopefully I figured it out, but that's a huge problem. To add on to the oil, when I'm in boost especially, so highway driving, I consume even more oil. It's probably something to do with the old age of the turbo, but that's something I can't really change right now. The second thing is also a very large thing, especially with Subarus it seems, I don't know why. It's more the modern ones, but it's detonation or damage to the rings or pistons. It's always a huge issue with turbocharged cars due to the advanced timing and running as high as octane fuel as you can get here. I run 91, you can get 94 with ethanol, but my fuel tank isn't actually approved for ethanol, so I have to run the 91 pure gas. I hopefully have this under control in my car. When I headed in for the spark plugs, I had a compression check, and it's at 11%. 11% isn't too bad. It's not the best, honestly. I'd like to see it like 5 or 6 is what Subaru says is like perfect. And for steam engines, 12 is perfect. But for my car, 11's alright. This kind of goes on to a joke now. On Subarus, there's a thing about every mod you have to do, you have to retune the car for like air filter, tune the car, stage 1. It's just a joke in the Subaru community that you change something, you gotta get it tuned. It is kind of true. I do want to get my car pro-tuned in this summer. Another one, if you guys watch my videos, you'd probably notice it me say, is even though it's a 2 liter, 2 liters is like, what is this? 4 of these is my engine displacement. They somehow jam-packed everything in. It's quite a small engine bay, honestly. To make the Subaru really hard to work on. To make it even worse of having a small engine in a small car, it's a horizontally opposed, so it fires across instead of in a V formation or up and down. So this makes your spark plugs on the side of the engine. So to do spark plugs, you got to remove your, if you have the stock airbox, and everything on that side, and then you have to remove your battery, windshield, washer fluid, and everything on that side to do the other side. So it makes doing small stuff like spark plug changes and like 180 super easy. Pull off the top, change them, put them back in. It's super easy, but Subaru is a little bit harder. It's just due to the small size and the way the engine's put in. So many of you have seen my engine bay, but here it is, just on the topic of trying to do stuff work or anything here. So your spark plugs are down in that little corner right there. So it's horizontally opposed, that's why your manifold goes across. But there's not much room to do much work in here, honestly. This hose is everywhere, everything's just jam-packed, and it makes it really difficult to do work. Next is probably a common one you've heard among Subaru people, the cost of parts, especially OEM, seems to be really expensive. In one of my previous videos I was talking about getting a bumper bar for my car as it is quite rusted out. They quoted me $425 for a piece of metal that goes across the top. That is crazy. But it often also leads to cheaper aftermarket parts, which aftermarket parts I'm not really complaining about. It gets even worse when you slap an STi badge on it. Like anything with an STi badge, you mark it up 25%. As we go farther and farther down the list, more of the things I hate about it get more nitpicky. It's just kind of the way I've made this video. Next one is the stock tire fitment. Especially on the 04s it seems. Like the 04, it was the first year they brought the STi to the States, or to the North American market, and they seem to have kind of flopped on the tire fitment. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's because the car culture leans to more aggressive fitments than stock before. Also probably because a rally car doesn't want to almost poke on the cars to destroy the paint, so it's probably a combination of those. But the stock 2004 STi tire fitment is horrible. It leaves like an 1.5-inch gap. As you know, I use my my stock tires as my winters, so I have to see that fitment. I'll probably end up getting some different aftermarket tires, but not right now. And I've been fighting buying spacers for so long because of the fitment. But it's kind of a thing you're just gonna live with, because I'd much rather keep my wheel bearings and have, rather than put on spacers, have good fitment, and then have to go replace all the wheel bearings in another 5 years. The backs aren't as bad as the front, but still they're pretty dismal. Like, look at that. Look at, I can fit my hand in. Actually, you could take 2 of my hands and fit them in between this area. It's just brutal. And then if we go to the front, I have my wheels kind of not at full lock, but at turning, so you can't tell as much, but still, there's my hand in the wheel well, and it's pretty bad. It's just one of those things that I really don't like. Like, if we look along the side, it's not my favorite thing. The headlights are not a massive one, but I still really don't like them. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the black on. It's still really foggy and it's not that clear, so I'll probably end up replacing them in the next couple years, I'm gonna say, with either JDM black chrome or a whole different setup, but we'll have to see. I have 2 more big ones, and then we'll get to the little stuff. As you guys know, my car I bought was a repaint. It was actually silver before. Now the paint job on it, especially in the hood area, is fantastic because I had that repainted after hail. But the paint along the other places isn't the best. It's chipping in places, like under the wheel wells where rocks are getting, they didn't prime it or they didn't sand it down enough. My mirrors, if you look really closely, it's actually, there's little silver lines, but it's not too bad. It's just something I noticed, and probably some detailers out there will probably be like, your paint isn't the best, it's not really that shiny, especially on the roof and stuff, but it's something it's still World Rally Blue, can't complain about that, and it's still paint, there's still paint there, there's still a clear, so it still looks good enough for now. Okay, the last one, probably the biggest one I have to rant about here, is the rally car stereotype. Honestly, people, it's a Subaru. Yes, it should be a rally car, but doesn't mean I have to make it a rally car. I want to make it a track car. I am planning to make a rally car, just something not out of my STi. Like, it's a really nice car. I don't want to wreck a really nice Subaru to make a rally car. Yes, of course the rally cars are Subarus, but they're also very built up, and they're not your stock Subaru. Yes, it's supposed to be a rally car, but I'm not gonna make it a rally car because I don't want to put it in a tree or something. That's for a cheaper, like, I'm thinking maybe a 2.5 RS sometime down the line I will make a rally car, but not this car. It's what people want to do with their cars. It's not what they should do with their cars. Like, there's plenty of ruined Subarus, let's call them, that are cambered out. Some of them I don't agree with. Some of them actually look alright. So it's what the person wants. It's what reflects the person instead of what you want them to do. Just get over that fact that not every Subaru is going to be a rally car. I kind of ranted there, I'm sorry, but it's just something that seems to be a huge stereotype in the Subaru community, or in the car communities. Their Subaru's not a rally car. Well, it isn't, but it's what they wanted to do, so live with it or just move on. Okay, now that the rant's over, here, let's go through some of the little tiny stuff that is kind of just nitpicky and whatever. So the first one is the random noises my car makes all the time. There's just noise all the time. I think that's kind of the thing of a Subaru. It's not a perfect car. There's always going to be something here or there that's going to be a little annoying. So I don't have a block heater. Wish they did have one. I can put one in, but you know, I park in the garage a lot, so it's probably fine, but when I'm not in the garage, it would be nice to have a block heater. It's just one of the little things here that you could change if you really wanted, but it's not too big of a deal. The next one is kind of just the thing that kind of goes with the paint, is that my car has a lot of Bondo on it in places like the side skirts, as you guys have seen. And there's little bits of, there's rust in little places, but it's to be expected. A Canadian car that has been on the roads for over 10 years, you're going to expect a little rust here and there. It's something that I'm trying to slow down or stop. The last outside one is one you guys have seen me try to repair, and it's not working out so well. It's the side skirt. If you guys look, especially on my driver or my passenger side, the side skirt is brutal. It's just all mangled and it doesn't line up. And actually, if you look right now, this is a perfect example. It doesn't sit right. That's not how it's supposed to sit. It's supposed to be up. It's supposed to be right there, actually. But you can see it's been all mangled and stuff. For the rest of them, now we have to go inside the car because Subaru kind of did a little thing here and there that bothers me a lot. Okay, the first one is that my back windows don't go all the way down. Okay, you're like, that's kind of just a normal thing. But when you're cruising and you have all your windows down and you have your back ones up, it actually is so annoying. It's just, it doesn't look the best for pictures, honestly. And I'll actually show you guys right now, because you guys probably haven't have seen. So let's roll down that window. Okay, it's going down, it's going down. There, it's down all the way. And it's not down all the way, jokes, but that's the way it is all the time. Like, that's as far as I can go down on both sides. So another one in the interior, which you can see right now, let's turn on my interior lights, you can't see. The STi gauge cluster is red. There we go, you can see it now. But every light, so the lights in here, the light here, all these lights, my light there, are all actually green. So you got green and red. It doesn't go well together. It's almost like a Christmas tree. It's not Christmas though. So I'll eventually end up replacing all these lights. That's why it's another small thing. And while we're at it, let's talk about this. So cup holders in my car here. Over your deck, which I will be putting a new deck in soon, so watch out for that. So that's a really big problem, is why do you put something that holds a liquid over your electronics? That just doesn't make sense. But my car is one of the few that have these completely working. They're actually kind of hard to find that work fine. And oh, second cup holder. Right there by your handbrake and your shifts. So let's see. That's kind of close. You definitely hit it. I've hit it lots putting my water here. Another interior one is the lack of putting two heated seats in. I only have one heated seat. So there's the heated seat right there. Yeah, as you can tell, there's the heated seat. DCC is right here, the other one's here. So the WRXs have two heated seats, so that's there. They didn't think to put this up in here, which is exact same area, and then you could put two heated seats. All the other cars, every Subaru, besides the 04s, as I know, have two heated seats if you got heated seats as an option. But the 04s, because they have a funny console, and probably the last one, which is really small because I've learned to deal with it and it's probably the best thing for the car, is setting the command start on this car. So it's a manual, so you have to set it right. To set it, you actually have to pull in your parking spot, put your car in neutral, let off clutch, keep your foot on the brake, pull up handbrake, release foot, open door, car still runs as you have the door open, and then when you close the door, it finally shuts off. It's the way they make sure your car's in neutral, so when its command starts up, it doesn't roll away on you. It's kind of a thing that pretty much every manual command start car has to have. So it's just a thing I gotta live with, and I've learned to deal with it. It's super, like, it becomes second nature once you stop your car. So that's pretty much it for what I hate about my car. It was a little bit of a long list, but don't get me wrong. There's always gonna be something wrong. You're never gonna have a perfect car, as I said in the intro. I still really like my car. It's probably one of my favorite cars. I'll probably never end up selling it. I do have massive plans for years down the road for this project daily. So it's not like I'm gonna sell this car because of this reason. It's just kind of a thing you gotta deal with, and there are opportunities to improve the car more. Like the turbo, I'll probably end up, or the oil, I'll probably end up getting catch cans and running a bigger turbo and front mount eventually. There's just things that will improve and take away your things you hate about it. Maybe in the next few years, I'll do another one of these, and we'll see what's changed about it and how I've changed and fixed these. I'll maybe go back to this video and first see how bad this video is, but second, go check out and see if I fixed any of these issues. That's pretty much it today, though, for the things I hate about my Subaru. If you guys thought of something that maybe I forgot, or you want to share something that you think you hate about your car, or something that's worse than mine, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, peace out and stay humble.